Welcome everyone to a special episode of Cook With Jase. We're partnering with Crema Coffee Garage for a fantastic series of 3 episodes where we're going to show you what coffee should be. They are the masters in education in showing you how to use coffee within your life and get the fantastic health benefits. We know that coffee is great because of the antioxidant value and can actually prolong your life. And from a performance perspective, we also have the benefits of increasing your performance capacity as an athlete. So there's many reasons why you can include coffee in your life, and we're kicking off with looking at espresso and the different ways that espresso can be made, but also another way to enjoy coffee. We've got a few different options for you coming along the way. So sit back, take some notes, and really enjoy what coffee can do for your life, and with Crema helping me show you what coffee should be. Welcome everyone to another Cook With Jase episode. Very special one today, brought to you as always by Enliven Nutrition, Crema Coffee Garage, look out, and also Thought Fox Media. So first time today, I've actually got some help on the bench here. Candice, welcome.
Very delighted to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited.
Absolutely, and coffee's a big part of my life. Everyone knows that. I'm a little bit of an addict that way, but there's some fantastic health benefits with coffee. And I want to give everyone a bit of an insight into the different methods, types of coffee, just so they can get this into their life and experience those benefits. So you're the expert. You're going to help me lead me here today, but I mean, run me through what we have in front of us today on this bench. There's a lot of gear going on.
There is. I think I might start with what people would be most familiar with, looking at the beautiful machine we've got over there. Very typical to see this in your local cafe, maybe even be lucky enough to have one in your office, and for those real, caffeine aficionados out there, to have one in their home like you do.
Yep.
So first and foremost, what the base of any coffee is your espresso or short black 30 ml coffee shot extracted from the machine there. And then moving forward, you've got variations on that. So you can do a long black, so hot water with actually a 60 ml espresso shot poured over the top. You've also got lattes, starting to throw into your milks there. So lattes, cappuccinos, and flat whites. So if you like, we can make a couple on there in a couple of seconds time, but I might draw people's attention down to these ones as well. They might be not as familiar with these.
Absolutely.
This one here you've got is a pour over setup. So typically you'll have your paper filter in the top, coffee grounds in there, and we actually pour the water over the top, hence the term pour over.
So that's quicker than what you would see with the espresso in terms of how it's actually done? Or?
It's actually a little bit more time intensive in terms of it's a bit more of a precise method.
Okay.
But once you know what you're doing and you nail it, the end result is beautiful, more like a tea-like consistency. So for those who aren't as, keen on the really intense flavour of an espresso shot, something like this, it's a really a light, like I was saying, tea-like consistency, and just really picks up on the subtle flavours. If those who find an espresso shot quite acidic, something like this, even our AeroPress, would be really good for you, because we don't use as high a temperature as what a coffee machine would do. We actually bring our temperature down a little bit. So you're really picking up on the more subtle, even floral notes of a coffee, as opposed to the kind of acidic, bitter ones that you might pick up on in an espresso shot.
So what I'm gathering is a lot of differences between even the blends of coffee I suppose you're going to use, and we'll discuss a little bit later.
Absolutely.
Temperature, extraction times. It's a real science and an art, and I'm very much espresso based.
Yep.
I spend a lot of my time in that way. Keen to get down the roads of what other methods we can use, especially coming into summer, a bit warmer weather.
Absolutely.
Something like a cold brew, which is something we'll look at as well.
Yes.
But yeah, absolutely.
So you've also got, next to that one, we've got an AeroPress. AeroPress is really starting to gain some real traction in Australia. People absolutely love it. Campers, people who travel for work, they're just so easy to use. As you can see here, it's a completely plastic setup. So there's no glass involved. So that's why it's perfect for campers and travellers. So easy to clean. So hence why I think in, the fast-paced world that we're in, people are so drawn to something that's not going to take up too much of their time, and it's not going to be too, labour intensive or cost intensive as well. So the AeroPress is a bit of a combination of like a plunger and almost like an espresso shot, where you do put your coffee and your water inside. At the bottom, we have a permanent filter, but you also unlock that one there to have either a paper filter or a more permanent metal filter, so a more refined filter inside. And then you let it immerse for, we recommend around 3 to 4 minutes. But the great thing about the AeroPress is you're in control of how intense the flavour is.
Oh, okay.
So you can leave it for less time, try it. If you like a bit stronger, just up your time. You don't want to play with the recipe really, because the one that they give you, that's been, years of the experimenting to get the exact recipe. So just play with the time. And then it's just as simple as placing it on your chosen chosen apparatus and just pushing it down. And it's actually the air pressure that extracts the coffee through. You get a really beautiful black coffee at the end, which you can definitely add milk to. You can add more water to it. But touching on what you said before about different blends, find the right blend and you really don't. If anything, the milk's just going to mask the beautiful flavours that it extracts. So a really popular one of my personal favourites as well.
I think what we're hearing here as well, and the fantastic thing about Crema and why we have partnered with them, is it is showing you what coffee should be. It's that educational experience that you're on that journey to learn more about coffee. And most people in life, making a decision is the hardest part. Fear plays a big factor, because if I see this before today, I'm like, that's a lot of equipment that I've got not much idea about what's going on. So you're going to get that explanation with Crema. And you've always got those videos as well on YouTube?
Yes. So everything that we've touched on so far, the different types of coffee, the pour over, the AeroPress, along with many other different types. You've got like the Chemex, the plunger, stovetop might be a bit more familiar to people as well, that more Italian, like traditional Italian style stovetop coffee, all of which you can find on our YouTube channel, the Crema Coffee Garage channel. I'm actually doing the videos there as well.
You'll see some similarities coming there.
Sorry, a bit too much of this. But we do individual videos on each one of these and really break it down. And I can vouch 100% when I first started working there, it's so overwhelming at first for all the different types. But once you get to know just the basics of coffee in general and how it really thrives by playing with the blends, with the temperature, with the courses of the grind, as you go through these other methods, it all falls into place and it makes perfect sense as to why it all works.
Well, how about we get practical? Let's
get into it.
What do we say with the big shiny one? We'll get an espresso one happening first up.
Yeah, beautiful. We'll pack a shot on there. We'll do the espresso that we were talking about, or short black, as some may know it better. So I'm just going to fill up our group handle with some ground coffee here. So excuse me for a second.
So that's
a little bit of a mess, excuse me.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's okay. We've got the cleaning person happening later on to fix this up. But so that's automatic?
Yeah. So we've got it this grinder here. This grinder here we've got set on the manual setting. So I'm actually programming it to do the exact, I'm actually doing it by the eye, by how much we exactly need. But even this little process I'm going through now, we actually have a full video on how to extract espresso and milk and everything as well. So, but people are more than welcome to come into Crema. We've got a huge team there, all of which are very professional at making coffee, because it's good to have that skill under your belt.
Absolutely.
To take you through. And a lot of the time that's where most of our guys started, was in the espresso bar itself, and then moved through to different avenues. And that's what's so great about the place. So yeah. So essentially we're just packing our espresso shot there into our group handle.
Too easy. We're
actually using a naked portafilter handle so that you guys can actually see the extraction in process. So this particular machine here, the ECM, it has a manual lever over here, so we're going to control the pour. Just doing the smallest amount of a pre-infusion as well. So you'll just hear that kick into gear there.
There we go. So what should they be looking for in the extraction?
So in your extraction, we're looking for, to begin with, that deeper colour that you're seeing at the bottom. The longer the water passes through the coffee, you're going to get what we call the blonding at the top.
Yep.
So roughly a 30 ml espresso shot, be looking at pouring anywhere between probably, 10 to 15 seconds, no real longer than that. You'll see it'll take a little bit for it actually to kick in. Don't be discouraged. So this is obviously the water passing through the group head and slowly starting to pass through the coffee. You don't want it to travel through too fast. You'll have an under extraction there. And then same for the other respect. You don't want it to be that slow drip, drip, drip. It'll take a long time for it to pass through, and it'll be a real over extraction. You'll find it to be quite bitter to try and taste. So we're really looking for that crema, excuse the pun there, sitting on the top of your espresso shot. So that's what we're looking for there. And then we can play on that when it comes to milk coffees. So I can actually froth up some milk for you now and make what we call a latte. However, kind of touching on what you were talking about there about trying to, what ways you can reduce your calories when it's coming to coffee. Something that people can do is drink what's called a long black.
Yep. So
you'll fill your glass about 2/3 of the way with hot water, and then topped with, traditionally it's a double shot, but if this is kind of seems a little bit overwhelming for you at first, you can always go just a 30 ml shot on top, and then you can actually top with cold milk. And so if you want to bring it back to a bit more of a drinking temperature, because obviously being hot water and hot coffee, it'll be, quite hot to taste.
Pretty intense.
So you can dial it down a bit with the cold milk. But you can also, if you're really missing that frothy cappuccino or latte, you can actually froth some milk and just add a touch of hot milk to it as well. And that way you can kind of ease yourself into it. I know my very early days of drinking coffee, I drank hazelnut lattes back in the day. That was my coffee. And then I moved through time to, I think I was a dirty chai girl, so coffee and chai, because I still liked that sweet. But ever since working at Crema and starting and learning, the proper ways to prepare your coffee, but all the ways that you can enjoy it as well. I think black coffee always scared me. And now I won't drink anything but a long black, because, if it's made the correct way, proper bean tailoring to your flavors, you don't need all the sugar syrups and and the chocolate powder and everything to enjoy your coffee. It's a nice addition, but it's definitely not what is needed to enjoy the coffee.
I think you will find that too. There's some, I'll say, lower class establishments that make coffee on a generic scale, and you will get a lot of powders, a lot of syrups in there, and you're missing, in my mind, the point
Absolutely.
of what you're having as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we definitely still find we have people coming through and they want the syrups. We've definitely got them on offer, and they ask for them half strength and whatnot. And we're all about pleasing the customer. That's what it's all about. But we also like to talk to our customer too and be like, oh, hey, we've actually tried we always run a house blend and a single origin. So our single origin, being in the name, comes from one region, and you often find it's not as intense as a blend might be, a bit milder, perfect for AeroPresses and pour overs and whatnot, because you've got that single flavour coming through. But maybe even that might be something more for you when drinking a long black, to not have too many complex flavours coming at you, just a nice, simple, clean flavour.
Yep.
But yeah, there's definitely ways of building yourself up to it. And then, as we know, there's no calories in an actual espresso shot, and there's certainly no calories in water.
Absolutely.
I'm guessing. I want to be correct there.
Yep.
There's definitely benefits in leaning towards the blacker side of coffee, but don't be scared off if you're a gung-ho latte drinker. You can progress.
Can I put the acid test on you then? Let's see what that latte is going to look like.
Oh, dear.
So I think the biggest thing as well, something like a coffee, I see a lot of people and they're like, okay, what's the best milk for me? I'm going to have my coffee. I want full cream milk. I'm not going to go to skim milk. I don't like it. It tastes bland. It tastes watery. It's like, well, you can have it. The reality is you can have anything in life. You can build it into whatever your plan is.
Absolutely.
Yes, there is a difference in terms of a calorie difference. There's a nutritional difference. But if you're going to have something, you might as well enjoy it rather than getting a coffee on skim milk and hating it.
Absolutely. If it turns you off it and you end up going the complete opposite way as a result of that, don't jump gung-ho into being, I only drink skim milk, I only drink light milk. It's definitely something that, if you're a full cream drinker, you love that and creaminess of a milk can really complement, the creaminess of a coffee. It makes total sense. But it was like what we were kind of saying before. You just don't have to have, a giant, large, jumbo latte bucket of coffee. In terms of the benefits you get from the caffeine percentage in a shot, hence the reason why most of the people at our work shot of espresso and then we're on our way. But, there's variances amongst the group. We like what we like. So, there's such a thing as a piccolo latte. You can have a little latte. So the same amount of coffee, but just lessening your milk. But we certainly have people come in who ask for half water, half milk. I know that sounds a little bit weird and scary to people. But again, it's one of those things that you can adjust you just do it slowly and you can start to really pick up on the beautiful flavors in the coffee and focus more on the coffee, not what you're adding to it. If you're starting with a great baseline product, then, it's only going to taste better from there. We always offer alternate milks like soy and almond and lactose-free milk as well. You would know the benefits. And
there's a lot of milk happening on...
Not so much with those ones. So we have coconut milk as well. So, And in my mind, you might as, if you do really love full cream, do it, but kind of do it as a treat to yourself.
Exactly.
You know what you're drinking, what's involved. So when you do go out on a Saturday for a coffee with your friends, it's a treat. You've earned it. You've really spent the whole week gearing up for it.
Absolutely.
Essentially. So.
And even that as well. Look, a skim milk coffee, you're looking the amount of milk there, 80, 90 calories per hit. Depending on the size, obviously. If we're talking a bucket load, it's going to be obviously more. But full cream's going to push it up to 150. So the difference there, being the fat content, makes it that creamier texture, the great mouthfeel in there as well. So it's an apple's worth of calorie content. So put it into perspective. If you're having 10 coffees a day, it's going to add up.
Yes.
If you're having a couple of coffees a day, factor it into your plan. Enjoy your coffee. Go to Crema. Life's good. Yeah.
Come to us. Yeah. Look, if it's something that you really enjoy, you shouldn't sacrifice it. Just factor it in. What you said is bang on. So, yeah. Well, we'll try and froth up some milk now.
Easy.
In regards to actually frothing up your milk with skim and full cream, if you've got a good quality milk, it's all in the technique. So if you're just the only thing you're thinking in your mind is, I won't get it as frothy if I have skim on a full cream or a skim, it's not true. You really can get that. So if that's what's scaring you off, nice thick foam on the top, don't let that scare you off.
I've actually had a lot of people say to me when they drink their coffee, they've had a bad experience when they've gone out somewhere. They've had something that might be that real sour sort of a taste, or then the burnt and bitter, and that's coming back to that extraction, what you were saying before.
Absolutely, yeah. So, it's as we've discovered along the way, there are so many different elements into making that extracting that perfect shot. And it's a really underrated element in a cafe. I think a lot of the time people just think you whack the coffee in the cup and the customer's happy. But certainly here in Newcastle is really coming into its own. It's a real coffee-loving place. So, and you see it more and more. There's more cafes popping up all the time, but it's I think it's really competitive. People are really starting to, really care about what's in the cup. It's not just, I've got the cup in front of me, I'm good now, which I think a lot of the time it is that for some people. It's just, I just need it.
Yep.
They don't know why, they just need it. But people, same with food around Newcastle, people are really starting to get into the whole, not only the culture of it, obviously there's always the social aspect of it, but actually the food in front of them and, Instagramming everything and whatnot. So, yeah, it's really comes down to your extraction a lot of the time. If you're finding that you're over extracting it, you can really get those bitter tastes there because it's spent too long passing through. If it's under, it's that real lots of that blonding. It's real acidity. And it hits you all in the back of the mouth. Something that our barista, our trainer, really talks through with our students coming in to do the course is about mouthfeel. It really is like, a good espresso should coat the whole mouth. You should taste it, the sweetness at the front, just the bite at the back. You want all those elements. It's just got to be that balance, and it really comes down to the extraction. So
the more pressure the coffee culture is bringing on your job as well, to get things right every single time when you're pumping through thousands of coffees a day.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, especially we're coming up to Christmas now, and that's what's fantastic. We sell so many of these great products. So a lot of people want to get that for their friends and family. So we've got a full showroom there pretty much attached is the espresso bar. So, people constantly coming through, loving their coffee. And, thanks to the, World Web, people know a lot more these days too. So many videos that they can look up and, very similar to ours too. But there's plenty of other companies all around the world. You could type AeroPress into YouTube and you'd just get, thousands and thousands of, people at home, people like us doing them. So, I mean, it's fantastic because there's a demand for it. People really, really want it. So, yeah, but it definitely makes our job more interesting. But I really like it. I like that the pressure is put on. You never want to get comfortable. You really want to always be, and that's why we are always learning. There's endless information for us to keep learning, and we want to do that for our customers and for all you guys out there.
Especially education provider, you got to keep upskilling yourself, and that's a really good looking finished product.
So this is your latte here. Some people will be familiar as well with a cappuccino that's a bit more in a cup, a lot more froth. That's what's known for the chocolate powder on top. But there is always the option to, if you want to go a really, really frothy coffee, that will obviously limit the amount of milk that's in it, and you can just ask for it with no chocolate on top. Dare I say it? But
no.
we do have it asked for. We do, because it's people who have always loved their cappuccinos all their life, and they just say to themselves, just not on the chocolate today. But then they come in on a Saturday and they're like, chocolate today. So they treat themselves. So it's all about getting to know the coffee product within, and knowing that you don't need to hide it and mask it with all these syrups and different things. If you learn how to make it right, you can really enjoy it. Yeah.
All the resources right here, guys.
Yes.
All right. So, we'll be back shortly, and we'll get to our next method of showing you how to prepare coffee. I'll tell you what, I'm about to learn something too, guys. So wait for that. Thanks for joining us for Cook With Jase. We're all about espresso for our first special edition with Crema Coffee Garage, helping me to show you what coffee should be. Stay tuned for next week, where we're going to have part 2 and show you another alternate brewing method with the AeroPress and some fantastic individual benefits that holds for you. So looking forward to seeing you then for another episode of Cook With Jase.